Hello, welcome to the Lopolight METS show. That's the virtual METS. We've been looking forward to seeing you today. It's been a long while, and we've all had our stories with this health situation. I'm glad to report that in Lopolight we're doing well. Everybody is healthy. Everybody and nobody has been affected by disease or anything. Factory is running at full speed, and life is within these boundaries of no travel and no shows and not seeing our business friends is actually okay. The last year has been obviously affected a lot by COVID and delays among customers and our ability to not, or our lack of ability to go to work. In April, May, and June, we actually had some terrible months, and it was not looking good. We were our factory was at half speed, and we suffered on our turnover. But that has corrected itself, and right now we are back to normal in a sales perspective and in a perspective of running our business. Looking in a situation like this, we had to do some changes to our organization, and there's a few people that is missing now, and it's an unfortunate fact of not knowing what the future brings. We had to proverbially reef our sails a little bit. I'll come back to that. But we thought we would start our thing today with a factory tour, and Philip has been great in, you have to push that, in making a little movie that shows what happens when we make a product. So we're actually not inviting anybody in, so to keep the factory workers healthy. When we are producing our lights, we create a production order, and you can see that in the lower left-hand corner, and it has this very large barcode on it. That barcode is important because at every step, for example, at the engraving station, that barcode will be the one identifying the order. In the process here, the light will be engraved, so we are a little bit quick here. And those who are looking for shorter delivery times, it's not true. We take more than 5 minutes of making a light. But another step is to program the driver. So each light type has its own settings and program. Pretty advanced stuff going on. The assembly of the lights. This is just a dummy of something that Carsten is working on. Every light is tested over a long period of time, and it's actually being recorded, the testing period. After testing, we're gluing, and then potting the light. So it's a two-part polyurethane epoxy resin that is our own secret formula. The final testing is important, where we check everything looks like it should, put on bases or covers, cleans it, and then tests it for performance. And it might not be very advanced, but it's a very smart way of checking that everything is like it should be. And it then goes to the warehouse. We attempt to keep a good stock, but you have a strong history of emptying our stock, and thank you for that. Just keep on doing that, and we'll try to fill it up the other way. All our shipping is done using FedEx, and as information, and FedEx comes here every day at 4 o'clock. So the last chance of getting anything out that day would be 2:30, 3 o'clock. Then the door shuts for that day. There's a few pictures more, and we'll take the next picture. Yes, one of the things that we invested in early 2020 is this magnificent machine. Everything about it is magnificent, apart the name. It's a bit unlucky that we got it in January, but it's a Corona machine. It uses a plasma treatment of the things that you put inside it and remove surface tension, and in layman's terms, it means that any glue, any potting compound just binds itself better to the subject. And it's a vacuum chamber, and we are treating every lens, actually 2 times. We are treating all the cables so that we get this very strong gluing and potting in place. What you also did not see in the picture. Okay. What you did not see in the picture was in the movie was our NLC production. We are producing more and more navigation light controllers, and we have produced several hundreds by now, and there's a whole section of the factory dedicated to this. And with the additions to the range that we showed you last year, that has now been matured and reworked. Peter will talk about that a little later. We are seeing a very strong uptake of these NLCs, because more and more vessels, even super yachts down to 30-35 meters, are now a standard specifying an NLC with the lights, and it's a great opportunity for you to increase the sale to a given yacht. So, when we're looking at next year, I guess everybody is agreeing on one thing, is that we don't know. Like yesterday evening, we got told by our health people that the vaccines are coming, and the first people are being vaccinated in January, and that's not us. And that is all the other guys, and it will probably take a year before the whole of Denmark, the whole of Europe has been vaccinated, and it is a question mark of how we will interact in the coming year. How will we work together? How will we be able to see to develop our business? What we do believe is that remote work like we have now, trade shows being postponed or cancelled or dying altogether, that customers will be very restricted on who they want to see. So this about video meetings, this about remote things are becoming more important. And in that case, also marketing takes a larger role. And that's just to hop in this. That we have reflected that in our organization by hiring a marketing manager. As mentioned, we lost a few people back in August, being Jens and Dieter. We were sad to see them go, but it was a reflection on that there was no work for them, and there was a need for us to control cost. But as we look at it now, with the changes, marketing becomes more important. And we're happy to welcome Morten. I think he'll just get his smiling face in here. Morten.
Hello, guys.
Morten is he started a week and a half ago, and you can say he's very new in the job, but actually he has 15 years experience with Lopolight, because he's the guy who's responsible or guilty, if you will, to having made our brochures and adverts over the last 15 years. So we have a good feeling for that we will have a good cooperation here. But we're already working on the first things like brochures and adverts at the moment. Next one. Our sales setup is the one where we have me as a sales director, Mike in the UK taking sort of the overall care of Europe, Federico specifically in Italy, because Italy is such an important market for us, and Federico also has other things to do. In the US, we have David and taking really good care of it over there, and we are seeing a lot of wins and growth in that area. On the technical service, we have Peter Gisela, who's making our 3D drawings, and myself for all kinds of technical service, from quotations to manuals. The best way of getting technical service is sending an email to info. Then the girls will ensure that the subjects are being taken care of by the right people. Merete is continuing to take care of customer service, so she is taking care of any warranty claims or orders, and then being supported by Mette in the operations. Speeding forward, obviously a big thing for us is Brexit. And Brexit, not only because of the unfortunate of UK leaving EU, but also because we have Lloyds as our purveyor of certification of the wheelmark certification, and Lloyds has failed to move the accreditation to the EU, and so we are now in the process of shifting all our certification to DNV. And even if they are Norwegian, they actually have the accreditation in order, and that is happening right now, and in time for the change at New Year. And for logistics challenges around Brexit, that is something we have a keen eye on, and making sure that we have enough stock to quickly be able to service our customers on the island, or in the empire, depending on how you look at it. But it's really unclear at this point in time whether the tariff walls will go up or go down. Good. Next up is the exciting part. So if you jump to the next one, we have a number of things to discuss with you. Yes. The first one is really not news, but it's a confirmation that our 360-degree lights will move to the new design that we launched nearly 2 years ago in METS. 2 years ago, actually, you saw it the first time, and it was always our ambition to upgrade the 360-degree lights. What we have discovered is that it makes much more sense to stay in or to continue in the new line, even if there's a the costing is a little difficult, but we have ways to manage that. But having a uniformity and making our factory focused on one design makes a lot of sense. So this changeover is happening in the first part of 21. There's a little bit of red tape that we need to take care of, and we're doing that right now. So all the technical parts are ready. It's the certification we're waiting for, and you can calculate back and said, okay, Lloyd's have been in some kind of limbo, and they were the ones we needed to do a certificate, and now we are at the DNB, and we have some more important business right now. So this one will happen in the first half of 21. You will be notified, of course, with the newsletters and everything. The part numbers will change. So like we know it, so a 200-012 will be a 201-012, and so on. The price will not change. The mounting will not change. The size is within a few millimeters the same, and so it should go without any problems. Obviously, at your end, it's important that the individual vessels that are buying our lights have a calibrated delivery, so that we are either in the old design or in the new design. Mixtures is possibly not a good idea, but that's what you say, up to you and to the customer to discuss. But there's a little bit of calibration that you need to do. Peter has been hard at work on the deck lights. If you look to your right-hand side, our old model of deck lights with 39 LEDs in a ring around has been quite popular from the fact that it is a very compact, waterproof, and dimmable light that can be placed in places where the customer are not completely sure that it's dry there. And so there could be in the cockpit area, in the Targa, or in the bimini, or under the boom, or at the spreaders, various locations. And this light exists both in a flush mount and a surface mount. The new light that you'll see on your left side is benefiting from a modern LED, from a electronics redesign that has not only created a light that is smaller in the height. So we're going from approximately 12-13 millimeters down to 9. But it has also the benefit of more light. So we're getting approximately 50% more light out of the same unit. And the properties of the electronics itself are pretty awesome. They are actually so low in EMC that we can, this one would pass a military standard test. It would, and it is perfect to put into a bridge environment and to be used in vessels where they are very of EMC, and every vessel should be, because EMC is the noise that gets your radio to malfunction, your AIS not to be seen, and safety at sea is jeopardized. So EMC is really important. And as you have heard several times, is that is something we pride ourselves in, and it is something that we focus a lot on, and we are best in class on that, even with the deck lights. So these will be, they are now in prototyping, and we've seen the first iteration of it. There are some changes to the electronics. You will have it in white with a red alternative. The benefit of that one is that you will not lose anything on the white intensity like you did in the old ones, where you lost a third of the LEDs to red. So what you had in the previous setup, you will also have in the new. They're still dimmable, pricing is to be determined, but there's definitely no price increases. So during the first half of 21, these will appear, and a great opportunity for us to sell some more lights to an individual vessel. The surface mount light will also have mounting, so it lends itself to be mounted on a spreader or a boom. Good. On the NLC side, we've had a strong development, as I said, and Peter and the boys have been very hard at work on getting all the ends to meet. There's been a little bit of setbacks on the hardware side that we now have come over and found some very good tools. And I guess you'll talk a little bit about that.
Yes. The NLC, as we have sold it for many years now, is based on the connection part, what we call the navigation light controller. This is what we normally have in the mounted in the steel enclosure. Here, for this opportunity, we have the compact version, because it's easier for us to show here, where we have, as many of you will know, the connections, the physical connections for the navigation lights. In the bigger version, we have basically two of these cards, and then we have these little monitoring circuits, or LMRs, that takes care of monitoring each and every light. Now, these are, again, as many of you will recall, often controlled by a push button keyboard here, and if something happens, we will get an alarm that's indicated as it must be according to the MSC 253. This is a popular product. We have it in as you remember, in three different basic sizes. The smallest one here controls up to 14 lights, up to 21 and 28 lights. So maximum 28 per system, as you know it. Now we have had over time a request for making a mimic of the vessel it is mounted in, and we have quite many things, including engraving and drilling large aluminium plates. It's been difficult for us to handle, to be honest, and that's also why you have heard us say that we'd rather not do that. Now we have taken the full step now and made a system where we use a touch screen, and the principle is fairly simple. this touchscreen computer, whatever, can then replace our button panel and will then control exactly the same NLC as it did before, and they can even be used on already existing systems. The idea is, and this is how it works today, is simply that we take a simplified picture of the vessel, and then we make an outline drawing. We show that here on the printed screen here, where you have a monitor and then an outline, and we can then show the indicators for the navigation lights when you press the soft buttons that is arranged and can be set up to a very extreme degree of individual setup for every installation. So one ship, in this case a super yacht, where they have running lights, they may have towing lights for when they tow the tender, anchor lights. On another vessel, it could be a chuck. They will need other combinations, other names on the groups, but so we can really arrange that, and the customer can set it up by themselves actually, or you can do it for them. But there are many fine possibilities. Hardware-wise, we actually have a small new Linux-based computer, this little thing here, that will be built into the NLC, and that is what is controlling the monitor of your choice, of our choice. We can deliver some high quality, but not necessarily class approved, or a more expensive class approved monitor from some of those known suppliers, that kind of things. It actually also holds a web server function, as you know from setting up your many household appliances today, where you can access it on a simple IP address, and that means that we can use that function to serve many more monitors /dash control points on a ship. So a double-ender ferry can have 2 or even 3 touchscreen monitors and can control the same lights, and everything just works in 100% mirrored. So there are many fantastic opportunities here, and you will see a lot more detailed presentation shortly. The first sets has been sold, and it's up and running, and it's proved to be a very stable system. One little thing, in the existing systems, you know, we can have, as many of you will know, we can have several slave panels controlling the system. With a new system that replaces this, we can do exactly the same, but the two ways of controlling the NLC and thereby the lights cannot coexist. It's either or. It's either the button panel control or the touchscreen controls we use. That was it.
Thank you. Now it's really exciting times. We have these systems that now caters for, I would say, everything inside the request of the navigation light control, from I think from 4 lights down to up to 60 lights system. The control heads, either classic, where you can, and with the classic system, there is a various outputs and various remote control options via NEMA 0183, or there's outputs for the vessel voice data recorder, and there's a lot of in outputs, and that sort of goes also into the new system, into the touchscreen. The touchscreen has another benefit and that's not really the screen, it's the computer. As Peter says, it works as a web server, and it lends itself extremely well to autonomous shipping, remote control of things, and we do have setups here where when a customer wants to do his own setup and create his own file, he can do that basically remotely by dialing in on a web address here. Obviously, we are very keen on safety and security, and we will not let any internet troll hack your system on board. But we can make some development access available for you that the actual configuration of the screen, the layouts, the light setup can be done even prior to delivery. That was on the mainstay of our product news. We have something. We have some things in the pipeline that, and a pipeline is obviously not a guarantee that it will happen. But one of the things we have in the pipeline is a battery-powered light for barges with a magnetic clamp on it and a daylight sensor. On the top of it, it has a low K-log base, so we can put any light on it as we want to. It's in the very early prototyping phases, and when, how much, and how it will be, we don't know yet, but we would like to tell you that we are working hard on this. Another one that will be a popular reappearance. Some of you might remember 10 years ago we had stainless steel lights, but the stainless steel lights, they will be coming also during next year. The manufacturer is completely different to prior. Some of you might remember that the stainless part of it in the earlier part was a little bit under delivered on, and now we are manufacturing it from a steel billet. It's machined out, and then you will also agree with me that's not a cheap process, so they will be expensive. But there are some super yachts and some yachts in general that would like to upgrade to stainless, and the deck lights, so port, starboard, stern, in both vertical and horizontal mount, will be available in that. The series will be launched for over 50-meter vessels, but that means that it can be used on more or less any vessel. So we have the stern light with deck light. So imagine the classic stern light that is the same design for whether it's a under 12-meter and over 50-meter vessel. As a replacement of the cover, we can put a deck light component in. The deck light is inspired by the masthead deck light product. The properties of this one is that it's a standalone item, so it has its own cable, and it has a 6-watt output, and it's perfect on a sailing boat where you have a swimming platform or a dinghy garage that you need some light put into. Many yachts have their stern light up on a radar pole, and just to set a photo scan again. They have the light up there so that the deck light portion can really illuminate the stern. This is actually a dimmable light, so the dimmability can possibly be a benefit for some. As a small adjustment to our K-log based lights, we have a design revision on the plastic bottom, the one that is standard with below 50-meter lights, and that looks like the one in the other side of your screen. And we've seen in cases where a customer repeatedly mounts and dismounts the light for reasons I don't know, that the cables are in risk of being damaged by the twisting motion. So we are changing the bottom to a longer aperture, so the cables are not negatively affected by the twisting motion. That obviously is only effective for in the factory, and when they twist it open the first time, when it's mounted on its final destination, it's unlikely that the holes have the size that you see below. But it will help against the potential of damaging the cable, damaging the waterproofness of the light, and it would be unfortunate for the customer to have it damaged this way. So this one will come out during 21. We are right now changing the molds, and that is coming into the market during 21. No change in part numbers, no change in anything, but it's a slight upgrade. Right. So that brings us to what you can expect on a monetary terms from us in the coming year. We have had various elaborated schemes for early payment, on order or payment shortly after delivery, where you could deduct 1.5%. These systems, they go away. They will not exist from 2021. So from 1st of January, those invoices raised after that date will not have that option in them any longer. So it's your normal payment terms that goes. On the other hand, we're happy to announce that there's 0 price increases for 2021. It's a reflection on that you have a tough life in the first hand. Let's not make it more difficult for you. So we'll try to support you as much as we can with this also. And that's actually it for our little presentation here. We are always available for you. If you want to get in contact with Peter, myself, or Morten, or the rest of the team, if you don't have our individual email addresses, they are not a secret. It's actually our first name @lopolight.com. But if that's proved to be complicated, use info@lopolight.com, and your mail will reach us. And we love to hear from you. If you have any questions, any comments, or any suggestions, we're eager to hear from you. But thank you very much, and have a good day.